Akshraj. Hello, how are you? And what about the others, everyone? How are you all doing? Well, the topic for today is super strategy for grammar. Well, grammar is something that is very, very important when it comes to communication. So until and unless you are well versed with grammar, you'll not be able to communicate effectively. Now, whether that communication is with regard to your IELTS test or for that matter in your everyday life, grammar plays a vital role. So, well, this class today is all about grammar using sentence structures, which can be very effective and impressive. So certainly the strategy is going to help you out in your IELTS test when it comes to your speaking and writing, which are productive skills. So, well, let's begin the session. And my name is Shifa Nandi, and I'm an educator at LeapScholar with over 11 years of experience in teaching IELTS, TOEFL, and other English language programs. Well, I have a master's degree in English. Along with that, I'm certified. I'm TOEFL certified, that is teaching English as foreign language. Besides, I have a certification from Cambridge for advanced skills in teaching IELTS. Well, that's a little about me, and let's get going with the session today. So we have, well, what about the others? How are you all doing today? Ready to learn a little bit of grammar? I know grammar can be a little tough sometimes, a little challenging sometimes. It reminds us of our school days, isn't it so? It reminds us of our school grammar classes, and we all used to dread those grammar classes, right? Well, there are certain things that I'm going to make very, very simple for you through a number of activities. So get set for learning a little bit of grammar and sentence structures, right, everyone? Are you all excited to learn some grammar from me? Yes? Hi, everyone. Okay. Let's start and let's look at what is there in the writing section of IELTS, because yes, grammar plays an important role in your IELTS test as well. Let's see what you need to do when it comes to the writing section for your IELTS test. Well, there are two tasks in the writing section with an overall limit of 1 hour, that is 16 minutes for the entire section. And we all know that it's 1 hour, 2 tasks to be completed. Yes, Sony Chavan, hi, how are you? What about the others? Yeah. So, well, let's look at what is there in the task 1. Task 1 requires you to write a report based on pictorial representation of the information. And this is for the academic training students. That means people who are going abroad for education purpose. For them, there is a report to write as part of task 1. So task 1 requires you to write in 100, at least 150 words, a report on whatever information that is presented to you, whether it is in the form of a line graph, a bar chart, a pie chart, could be a map or a diagram or a mixed graph for that matter, or a table. And task 1 for the general training people who are going abroad for immigration or for work purpose, for them, it is letter writing. Right, everyone? Okay. So how much is the word limit for this task? For task 1, it is at least 150 words. And what does that mean, everyone? Hi, Kapila. Hi, Krishna Kumar, Sukhaman. How are you all doing? So, well, today's session, let me just let everyone know, all those people who've joined in late. Today's session is about super strategy for grammar, which is certainly going to help you in your IELTS test. Grammar plays an important role, not just in your IELTS test, it also plays an important role when you're communicating with people on a daily basis. So that's what we're going to learn. However, I'm going to teach you give you some tips with regard to something that can be used on a daily basis or very, very quickly can be learned in a short period of time. So I'm going to teach you some things in very simple manner. So get set for learning some nice tips about grammar, which can certainly help you to construct sentences which are flawless, right? Okay. So task 1, at least 150 words, but you can take it up to about 200 words, 225. That should be enough, not more than that is required. Task 2 is essay writing task, which is to be written in at least 250 words. So essay writing is common for academic and general training people. Everybody has the same task as task 2, and you can take this task up to about 300, 320 words. That should be enough. 250 is the lower limit. However, make sure there's nothing less than 250 written there. The band in your writing is given on a scale of 0 to 9, and based on all the 4 parameters. Well, so Shravani, Kapila, Krishna Kumar, all of you, let me know very quickly which are the 4 parameters for your writing tasks, whether it is task 1 or task 2. So what are the 4 parameters? Well, that's task response, it's lexical resource, coherence and cohesion, and grammatical range and accuracy. Right, everyone? So these are the 4 parameters based on which you are judged in your writing section. So that's something really very important. Okay, let's move on, and yeah, let's look at the 4 parameters. They are there on the screen for you to see, and if each one of this parameter has 25% weightage, so it's very important that you pay attention to each one of them, whether it is task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammatical range and accuracy. So what is grammar? In fact, what is grammatical range and accuracy? Lexical resource, we all know it's words, vocabulary. Coherence and cohesion is nothing but organization and using paragraphing effectively. Task response means answering the question which is there posed to you. However, grammar seems to be a little vague for all people, that what all is there under the umbrella of grammar. So, well, in simple words, it's your ability to showcase a full flexibility. So a wide range of sentence structures with full flexibility and accuracy, which means that you construct sentences of a variety of kinds, and you show your ability to not only construct them accurately, but make sure that you have a mix of complex and compound sentences, active and passive voice. You are able to showcase that you're using active passive voice as well. You're able to use the tenses appropriately, indirect speech, comparative structures, punctuation, and use prepositions correctly. So all of this comes under the umbrella of grammar, and it's very important that you take care of that. Isn't it quite a lot to take care of? Yes, everyone? Yes. Do you think it is too much to take care of? Yes or no? Certainly, yes. Even I, as a teacher, feel that there's so much to look into. That means you have to pay attention to so many things while you are actually writing. You need to make sure that every part of your grammar is taken care of, whether it is your complex and compound sentences, whether it is your punctuation, your prepositions, your articles, whether it is your tenses. So it's very critical that you pay attention to all of these. Now, it's not really possible to look into all of this in 1 hour session. However, I'm going to give you some nice tips, and I'm going to let you know some tricks in order to perform well when it comes to different styles of writing. So, well, today we are going to look at different styles of writing, and we are also going to look at subject-verb agreement. Subject-verb agreement. Now, how many of you have heard people commenting, well, there was an error in subject-verb agreement. So what do you understand? Have you heard of this being referred to? Have you heard people referring to this, that subject-verb agreement? There is an issue with subject-verb agreement. Well, there many a times we hear people talking about that, but then we keep wondering, what is the subject-verb agreement? Well, that also I'm going to refer to in today's session, and I'm going to let you know a few rules that can be easily followed to make sure that you don't make errors. Those rules are particularly with regard to some of the errors that people frequently tend to make. Right. Okay. Well, we'll do that later. But for now, we're going to look at the styles of writing. And for first of all, a very quick question coming up for you on the screen here. And I have 2 samples of introduction here with me. So we are going to look at those 2 samples, right? First of all, let's look at the question. Many students these days are traveling abroad for further education. Do you believe the advantages of this experience are greater than the drawbacks associated with it? So now, what type of question, essay question is this? This is typically a task 2 type of question, right, everyone? So what type of question is this? There are 4 types of essays. Out of that, which one is this? Yes, Krishna Kumar, Afreen, Kishan, Shravani, Kapila, all of you quickly respond in the chat box. I'm waiting for your answer. So this is, yes, this is an advantage disadvantage type of question. Isn't that so? So this is advantage disadvantage, which requires you to address both the advantages and the disadvantages. So now let's look at the introduction, the first introduction that we have here. So let's look at that. Since the last 10 years, there have been many students who travel abroad. Now, everyone read this particular one and quickly point out in the chat box, what are the mistakes here? What sort of a writing is this? Do you consider this to be good? And if there are some mistakes, and what sort of mistakes are there here? So quickly read this introduction and point out to me in the chat box. I'm waiting for your answer. I'm waiting to see how quick you can respond to this one and what is your judgment of this. Yes, Anne-Marie, Afreen, everyone, very quickly let me know in the chat box. What sort of introduction is this? Is it good or is it flawed? If there are flaws, what sort of flaws are there? Can you point out? Since the last 10 years, there have been many students who travel abroad to study in international universities. I will investigate the advantages and disadvantages of this pattern in this essay. What do you think? Is this a good one? Is this a good introduction? And how much band do you think, according to you, this will fetch? How much band do you think you can get with this kind of writing? Okay, punctuations, put comma after since. No, there's no need for comma after since. What sort of punctuations, Teja? Do you think the word since is correct? Since is always used for a point of time. When you have a period of time, you use for. Isn't that so, everyone? So what should have been here? For the last 10 years, there have been many students. So for, first of all, the first error out here is, so there's an error in the usage here, right, everyone? So there's an error in the usage of since because we don't use that, okay? There have been many students who travel abroad to study in international universities. I will investigate the advantages and disadvantages. Now, what is missing here in the introduction? What is missing is the thesis. So thesis is missing. Everyone, there is no thesis of the position with regard to the question. What does the writer think about it? What does he think, whether the advantages are more or disadvantages are more, are missing? Don't you realize this? That there is no thesis out here. He's just talking about discussing the advantages and disadvantages. However, there is nothing written with regard to the fact that what does he believe? What is his opinion? So very quickly, let's look at the analysis of this. So, well, in this example, the writer develops the idea of the title that more students travel abroad to study. Moreover, the introduction is short and the range of language is appropriate, but very basic with a few errors. This paragraph deserves just about a 6 or a 6.5, nothing more than that. I mean, if this kind of writing, plain vanilla writing, if you do, you cannot get more than a 6 band or maybe 6.5 at the most, because considering that maybe the body paragraphs are a little better or whatever. Now let's look at another introduction. Can you all look at another introduction? And this one is a slightly bigger one. So read this introduction and have a look at the fact that what all this writer has written here. So coming up on the screen for you is the introduction to the same essay. There have been an increasing number of students traveling internationally for further education in recent years. While some people argue that studying abroad is a very positive experience, others suggest that there are several problems associated to it. I believe that the advantages of a study abroad experience outweigh the drawbacks. So now let's analyze this one. Can you make out that the writer has made some kind of paraphrase the question? There have been an increasing number of people traveling internationally for further education in recent years. So now he also gives an indication that he's going to be discussing the pros and cons of that. So while some argue that studying abroad is a very positive experience, others suggest that there are several problems associated to it. Then he says, I believe. Now, what is this? This is the thesis. So the thesis is very clearly standing out here. Isn't that so? And he uses some words like, I believe that the advantages of a study abroad experience outweigh the drawbacks. So thesis is very clearly coming out. He's paraphrasing the question. He made a general comment on the topic. So all of that is clearly here. So in this example, the candidate writes a more developed introduction and offers a reference to the pros and cons of studying abroad, and the use of complex grammar and tenses are accurate. So there's more accuracy here with regard to grammar and complex sentences. Look at the use of the word while. So while helps you to construct a complex sentence, while dash, 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 others suggest that. So this is a complex sentence. The writer uses the linking word of contrast while to introduce an adverbial clause appropriately. Moreover, the paragraph is coherent and there is a wide variety of language. This type of writing merits a score of 7.5. At least a 7.5 if this kind of writing is there. Everyone, can you all see that clearly here, that what kind of writing is here? There was a complex sentence, there were words of comparison and contrast. Clearly a thesis out there. So the style of writing was perfect with regard to an introduction, and certainly this kind of writing is far better than the one which was just a plain kind of writing in the first sample. Okay, let's look at a few expressions which can help you to express your personal opinions. So personal opinions have to be expressed very frequently in your essays. So let's look at a few expressions that can help you do that. I tend to think that. I personally believe that. Yeah, in my view, it seems to me that. I would argue that. Many people think that, however, I believe that. So that's a wonderful way of putting across your opinion when you talk about others' opinion first and then use a word of contrast and talk about your opinion. It is generally believed that. However, I personally think that. Most people think dash, 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 but in my opinion, so all of these are great ways to put across your opinions and thoughts, and these will certainly be more effective in your opening and your closing paragraph. That means your introduction and your conclusions. So, well, let's look at a style of writing. What is this that has come up on the screen here? Have you heard about it? Have you heard about refutation? Yes, that's wonderful. In the chat box, I can see that a lot of people were involved in the activity and you all tried to analyze the two writing pieces. Now coming up on the screen for you is refutation. Have you heard about this earlier? Refutation. And do you know what is refutation? Well, refutation in rhetoric is a part of an argument in which a speaker or the writer counters the opposing points of view. And what sort of countering is done here? Well, a very forceful way of expressing an opinion. So what is this? What is this refutation and how do we do that? Well, it means that you present an argument of view by first rejecting an argument that you do not agree with. So that means you have to reject an argument. So this kind of writing or this style of writing will particularly come in handy when you have to disagree and forcefully disagree with something that is suggested in the question. So while writing an essay, if you want to disagree with something and you want to forcefully do that, That means you want to do that in a very strong manner. Then refutation would be a great way to put that across. So what is the example out here? So how do we use this? What's the style of writing here, which is incorporated in refutations? You could use expressions like, I disagree with the view that internet is a useful resource for children when there is so much uncensored material. Okay, Vishak, even if you've not heard that, Kishan, you've not heard that earlier. So do try to use this in your essay. It's going to be a wonderful way of putting across your opinion. And these kind of expressions can certainly up your score in your writing, in your essay writing. So these styles of writing are really very superior. So you could say, I disagree with the view that. Now, can anybody very quickly point out that what's so unique about joining the two sentences in this one? So I have clearly joined together the sentences here. So, well, if you look at this, I have joined together the sentences. Now, what is the word which I have used, which is unique and which is used instead of because? Yes, very quickly, what is the word which is unique, which is used in place of because? Can you notice this on the screen? Can you notice the word when on the screen? Did you actually happen to notice that this is used? Have you ever come across the usage of this in a sentence in place of because? Yeah, very good, Anushri. You noticed that word when. So wonderful, Kishan. Yes. So I disagree with the view that internet is a useful resource for children when there is so much uncensored material. So what is this? This is a counter argument. So, well, all this which is joined together is a counter argument which is written over here. So this is a counter argument to prove yourself that why you do not agree. So this is a counter argument, everyone, when there is so much uncensored material. And a good way to put across your counter argument is by using the word when, which is unique, and it gives a unique style to your writing. So today onwards, are you going to start using this word? Yes? Give me a big thumbs up and a big yes in the chat box if you're going to start using this type of sentence structure when you have to express your opinion, and particularly when you have to disagree to something, you are going to start using the word when there is so much uncensored material. So when, to give your reason, right, everyone? Okay. Okay, great. Yes, Vishak, Archana, everyone, do try to use this. Now let's look at a small exercise, and you all are going to do this question. You're going to construct the sentence in a similar manner. So have a close look at the example that I have quoted here. So have a close look, everyone. I disagree with the view that internet is a useful resource for children when there is so much uncensored material. Okay, great. Thank you, Anushri, Malu, everyone, for giving me a big thumbs up. And let's quickly look at a small exercise to apply whatever you have learned. So you have learned about refutation now. And look at the screen. Now I'm going to show you a few expressions that you can use for refutation. That means forcefully rejecting a view while giving your opinion. So, well, you have some expressions on the screen like, I'm unconvinced that, I don't believe that. Some people find it hard to accept that, it is doubtful whether. I disagree with the view that, I'm uncertain whether. There is little evidence to support the view that. It is unjustifiable to say that, right? Okay, so these are various expressions, and you can notice that all of them are there for disagreement, okay, because refutation is all about disagreement, right? So now let's practice and refute these arguments and justify them with a counter argument in the bracket. So the counter, I've helped you out with that. The reason is already given in the bracket. Yes, yeah, so the reason is already given in the bracket, and you have to disagree with the statement that footballers deserve high salaries. So how are you going to do that? Very quickly in the chat box, I want you all to respond. Yes, footballers deserve high salaries. And in the bracket, the counter argument is just doing a job like everyone else. So, how are you going to disagree to this footballers deserve high salaries? You can use any of the expressions from the left hand side column. Yes, very quick. I want some responses out there. Yes, very quickly. Okay, very quickly, I'll wait for a few seconds more to have your responses in the chat box for this question. Footballers deserve high salaries. So let me know, what do you think about it? How do you refute this one? How do you refute this one? Just doing a job like everyone else. So how are you going to use any of these expressions out here? You could say, I am unconvinced that footballers deserve high salaries when they're just doing the job like everyone else, right? You can also use, some people find it hard to accept that footballers deserve high salaries when they're just doing the job like everyone else. So that's a wonderful way of putting across your refutation along with, so you refute and you provide a counter argument. Yes, very good, Kishan. I disagree with the view that footballers deserve high salaries when they're just doing a job like everyone else. And don't forget to use the word when to join together the counter argument. Great, wonderful. Now do the next one. The next one is coming up on the screen for you. Running is good for you. So, and what is the counter argument out there for you? Well, so many physical injuries. Now I want everybody to quickly give me a response. You got the hang of it. You've understood how to do it. So now do this one very quickly. Running is good for you. Well, the counter argument is so many physical injuries. So that means you have to disagree. You have to refute running is good for you. How do you refute? How do you do the refutation for running being good for you? Yes, very quickly. Okay, let's look at it. Yes, I don't believe that footballers deserve, Dinesh says, I don't believe that footballers deserve high salaries when they're just doing a job like others. Very good, Dinesh, a good attempt there. Okay, wonderful. Afreen says, I'm unconvinced that footballers deserve high salaries when they're just doing the job like everyone else. Very good, Afreen. So, well, Kishan says, I don't believe that. Bishak says, I disagree with the view that footballers deserve high salaries when they're just doing the job like everyone else. Wonderful. Do the next one. Running is good for you. So you could say that there is little evidence to support the view that running is good for you when it can lead to so many physical injuries, or it is doubtful whether running is good for you when it can lead to so many physical injuries, when it can lead to many physical injuries, right? Very good, Malu. It is doubtful whether. Great, wonderful. Now, was that a wonderful way of learning how to do refutation? Have you learned the refutation now, all of you? So are you going to try and apply it in your essays when you want to disagree? Are you going to try and apply that in your introduction and your conclusions as well? So please go ahead and try this new technique, and you will see that your writing is looking much better now, okay, by using that. Well, we are also going to learn concessional style of writing. We are going to do subject verb agreement, so lots more to learn. But before that, a very quick look at how you can book a free demo with LeapScholar. And if you want a dedicated half-an-hour session with me, go ahead and book a session. The link is shared in the description box. Everyone, the link is shared in the description box. Go ahead, quickly book a demo if you want to proceed ahead and learn more with me. Everyone, go ahead, book the free demo and get a dedicated session with me. Great, wonderful. Myra, it is unjustifiable to say that running is good for you when you have so many physical injuries. Wonderful, Myra. Yes, Dinesh. Okay, great, everyone. So making good attempt out there. And now I have a few seconds, 30 seconds for you all to quickly book a demo. Click on the link that is shared in the description box and book a free demo with LeapScholar. Get a dedicated half-an-hour session with me if you want to get some tips and tricks and learn something more with me. Right, everyone? So I'm sure you're enjoying. Everyone seems to be having a great time learning a few tips about grammar and sentence structures, about styles of writing. So this all comes under the umbrella of grammar and well, and I think that these are super easy tips to learn these kind of skills, which you can easily apply in your essay writing or your style, by improving your style of writing. You can get a far better band. So these are simple ways. So it's not the conventional grammar class, which is going to be really very heavy on you and very tough to comprehend. It's going to be very difficult things made easy for you, right? Given to you in a very easy manner. Go ahead, book a free demo, come back, and so we'll continue with the session to learn concessional style of writing and to learn subject-verb agreement as well. So concessional style of writing still for you there, and that will certainly help you to ace up your writing. It will certainly help you to take up your writing score up if you include that style of writing in your essays. Yes, everyone, the link is shared in the description box. Everyone, very quickly book a demo and let me know in the chat box how many of you have booked the demo with me. Are you excited to have a session, a dedicated session with me? It's a free demo where you will be evaluated for your skills, and I will be teaching you a few skills as well. So you'll be learning a lot in that session. And yes, we do have courses run by LeapScholar, like the IELTS Elite and the IELTS Select course. So if you're interested, you can just go ahead and join the courses. However, if you first want to go ahead with a demo, book a free demo and get some tips and tricks. Give me a big thumbs up if you have booked your session in the chat box. I want to know who all have. You all have been responding so wonderfully to me, and you all have been so active in the chat box. So very quickly, let me know how many of you have booked the session, booked the free session. Hi, JK. Yes, everyone. Okay. Well, very quickly, move ahead, quickly look at the description box and look at the links that are shared for you all to book a free demo with LeapScholar. And then we proceed ahead. Okay, let's look at, now let's move ahead. The links are shared in the description box, so you all can go ahead and book a free demo with LeapScholar and get a dedicated half an hour to 45 minutes session, which is certainly going to be very helpful and useful to you. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy that session thoroughly. Okay, let's look at concessional style of writing. What is a concession? Have you heard about it? Concession, what is concession? Concession is a literary device used in argumentative style of writing, where one acknowledges a point made by one's opponent before presenting your own opinion. So that means before presenting your own opinion, you acknowledge a point made by the opponent. So an acknowledgement of others' opinion, which is different from yours, before presenting your own opinion. So good writers and authors always consider other arguments that are different before presenting their own views. Let's look at an example of this kind. How to incorporate concessional style of writing in your essays. Yeah. So let's look at an example here. Although many people would like to have a big house, the cost of construction has to be considered first. So now what is a concession here? Concession is the first line, which is in red here. So although, anything that is attached to words like although, even though, while. So all of this is a concessional style of writing. And whatever comes next is the main idea. So that means, what is it that the author is mainly trying to say? The cost of construction has to be considered first, right? That is what his main idea is. However, although many people would like to have a big house, that is just a concession. Okay, so that's not the main idea. Now, this, if you happen to understand concessions, you will also be able to understand the reading passages which come in IELTS, because many a times the reading passages in IELTS incorporate concessional style of writing, and people, they don't understand what is written there, and they misjudge and misconstrue what is the main idea of the paragraph. So if you understand this style of writing, it will not only come in handy in your writing and speaking, but it will also come in handy in your reading section. So let's quickly apply the concessional style of writing. And here, coming up on the screen for you is, a small exercise here. So use the following expressions. So I'm going to be giving you a few expressions out here, which are part of concessional style of writing, like while, although, even though, despite the fact that, it may be true that, admittedly, however. Admittedly and however can be used in combination, right, everyone? The sentence for you is, fast food is very popular in many countries these days. It is bad for our health. These are the two sentences that you need to join by using concessional style of writing. So very quickly, come up in the chat box that how are you going to join. JK, go ahead and book your free demo, and that's how you will be able to get some tips and tricks with me. You'll be able to get a dedicated session with me, and along with that, you can ask questions and queries with regard to the courses. So go ahead and book the session, free session. Okay, Dinesh, that's wonderful that you have already booked. And others also, if you want a dedicated demo session, you can just go ahead and use the chat links shared in the description box. Okay, in the chat box, the description box. Okay, fast food is very popular in many countries these days. It is bad for our health. How do we join this? Well, look at this. We have the words out here, while, although, even though, despite the fact that, it may be true that. So all of these are there, with the help of which we can join these sentences and create a concessional style of writing. Now, what is it that the author is mainly trying to say through this? The author is mainly trying to say it is bad for our health. So what is he emphasizing? That fast food is bad for our health. So how do we write this? We say that even though fast food is very popular in many countries these days, and look at the punctuation. After the subordinate clause, there is a comma, and then it says it is bad for our health. So the expression even though is going to help you to do concessional style of writing. It's going to help you to do a concessional style of writing. Even though is attached to a concession, and the main idea only comes after, in the latter half of the sentence, right, everyone? So the latter half of the sentence, we have the main idea, right, everyone? Okay. So even though fast food is very popular in many countries these days, it is bad for our health. This is a wonderful style of putting across your thoughts. It shows your maturity at considering the others' arguments first before you put across your own opinion, right? Okay, that was a concessional style of writing. And let's quickly look at the next thing that's coming up for you on the screen. And we are going to deal with something that's a little complicated for some of the people, because they don't understand how to use subject-verb agreement, right? So what is subject-verb agreement? Okay, Dinesh, very good. Although fast food is very popular in many countries these days, it is bad for our health. Wonderful, Dinesh. That's a great one. You could have also used while fast food is very popular in many countries these days, comma, it is bad for our health. Admittedly, fast food is very popular in many countries these days. However, it is bad for our health. Wonderful, Myra. Wonderful. That's so good that you all are trying different things in such a short period of time. You're able to learn so much and you're able to apply so much. I'm so glad that you all are so participative. It's wonderful to have such a interactive audience. Okay, so now all set, everyone, to learn about subject-verb agreement. So has it ever bothered you, Jim, along with his family, is going or are going, what do you put there? Has it ever bothered you? I'm sure it has. So let's look at what the subject-verb agreement is. So subject means the doer of the action, right? The subject, the doer of the action, or about whom something is being said. So that is the subject, right? The subject of a sentence must agree with the verb in person and number. Now, let's look at that. And what is a verb? Everyone, we all are familiar with the verb. Verb is a doing word, right? It's an action word. So Susie is the subject. And what is the verb out here? Is working, right? Is a verb here. Susie and Bill. Now there are two subjects out here. So what do we use? Well, are. Susie and Bill are working. As simple as that, right? However, sentences are not always as simple as that. There are some complex sentences about which we are not very clear how to use the verbs. So let's clear those doubts. A few doubts out, that can be cleared through the help of the rules that I'm explaining you on the screen. So I'm going to be explaining a few rules to you about subject-verb agreement. So, well, let's look at the this particular rule for subject-verb agreement. Right, everyone? Okay, Kishan, Myra, they all are giving me answers. Everyone is giving me answers in the chat box. So that's really wonderful. Now tell me about this one. The following expressions do not affect the verb. Now, which are those expressions which do not affect the verb? Well, accompanied by, along with, among, as well as, in addition to, together with. So let's look at the first one. Let's look at the first question out here, and I've done that for you. So Jim, along with his family, look at the punctuations also. Okay, so Jim is the subject. The main subject of the sentence is Jim. And here it says, along with his family, is going camping. Because these expressions, the following expressions, do not affect the verb. Have you all had a look? They do not affect the verb. So that means along with his family, accompanied by his family, as well as his family. So, or in addition to, to his family, or all of these will not affect the verb. And therefore, since Jim is singular, we use is going camping. Right, everyone? Is that clear? No, so look at this, everyone. If you're thinking that it should be are, look at the rule that is explaining here that these expressions do not affect the verb. Now let's look at the next one. So look at this. So Jim is the main verb and we use is, right? Now let's look at the next one. Very quickly do this one. Sorry. Jim as well as the dog dash going camping. Everyone, I want the answer very quickly in the chat box, everyone. Jim as well as the dog dash going camping. Is it is or are? Is or are? Yes, Kishan, Myra, you all are so active in the chat box. Dinesh, all of you give me the answers very quickly. Malu is saying is, Kishan Patel is saying is. Okay, great, wonderful. That means you've understood the rule. Jim is going camping, right? As well as the dog. Well, that should not affect your verb. Exactly. Wonderful. So next time round, I'm sure that you're not going to make such kind of errors. So Jim, as well as his dog, is going camping. Okay, we'll never say are going camping. Okay. Yes, Anushri, very good. So that's wonderful. Has everybody learned this new rule? Have you all learned this new rule? And will you keep it in mind that not to be affected by expressions like accompanied by, along with, as well as, in addition to, together with? Okay. Okay. One more time, I'm giving you a quick reminder of booking a demo session with LeapScholar. The links are shared in the description box, in the chat box. Go ahead, everyone, and book the free demo session. So that's going to be a wonderful opportunity for you all to learn more and more, and that's completely free. So it doesn't really harm you to join a free session by LeapScholar. It's just going to do you some good. So look at the links shared there. Go ahead and book the session, everyone. I'm sure you're enjoying learning with me. So I'm sure you're looking forward to having a demo session with me. Go ahead, everyone, book a free demo and let me know in the chat box how many of you have done that. I would like to know how many of you have booked a free demo. The link is shared in the chat box and I'm waiting for you all to come back. So take a quick, okay, that's wonderful, Myra, that you have booked the free demo. And go ahead, others also follow suit and just book your demo session and give me a big thumbs up in the chat box. Let me know. Yes, everyone, very quickly, so that we can proceed ahead. We have a lot more to learn. The links are shared in the description box. We have yet some more rules to learn about subject-verb agreement. And I hope that you will not forget the first one, which is not being that the verb does not affect when such expressions are used. Yes, wonderful, Myra, Malu, all of you, great, wonderful. You all have given me a thumbs up in this chat box. Okay. Okay, very quickly, last 30 seconds to book your free demo with LeapScholar. And then we'll proceed ahead. The link is shared in the description box. Okay, let's just move on. And now let's look at rule number 2, right? All of you who've done the booking for the free demo, keep letting me know in the chat box and give me a thumbs up and write that you have booked the demo. So meanwhile, I will proceed ahead with rule number 2, which says that when the following phrases are used, the verb agrees with the subject that is closer to the verb in the sentence. So now let's look at this. When you have such kind of phrases like either or, neither nor, not only but also, then the verb agrees with the subject that is closer. So neither my sister nor my brothers. So now brothers is plural. So what the verb is closer to the word brothers, which is plural, and therefore the verb used here is also plural. That is are going to the college today. So neither my sister is singular. However, brothers is the one which is closer to the verb. Therefore, we will have plural verb. That is brothers are going to the college. I hope this is clear. The verb agrees with the subject that is closer. Okay. Now, let's look at the next one. And everybody very quickly do this. Neither my brothers nor my sister dash going to college today. Now, which is the verb which is closer? Which is the subject which is closer to the verb? Sister. Sister is singular. So what should we have? Is or are? Very quickly in the chat box. Is or are? Okay. Malu says are. Why should it be are? Sister is singular. The subject is closer. Very good, Anushri, Kishan. It is. Neither my brothers nor my sister is going to college today. Yes, it is. Because sister is singular and that subject is closer to the verb. Therefore, the verb will also be singular here. So it is going to be singular, right, everyone? Okay. So neither my brothers nor my sister is going to college. Okay. Wonderful. That's great. Okay. I just love the fact when you all participate so actively. So that shows that how much you are involved in the session, how much you are engaged in the session. So that's a wonderful thing. However, no, I want to know However, I would like to know that have you all booked the demo session with me? Are you all eager to learn more with me? That I want to know, for which I'm waiting for the responses. Okay. Okay, the next question coming up for you on the screen. Well, not only his dad, but also his brothers dash going to the wedding. So what is it that you're going to use here? Not only his dad, but also his brothers. Now, the verb should conform to the subject which is closer. So what is the subject which is closer? It is brothers, right? And brothers is plural. So what do we have here? Yeah, very good. That's R. Okay, great. Wonderful. So not only his dad, but also his brothers are going to the wedding. That's great. That's wonderful. Okay. Wonderful, everyone. Now let's do some more questions to practice, and let me just see whether you have learned what I have explained to you. There's another one coming up for you on the screen, everyone. Look at the screen. There's another one coming up for you. Not only you, but also I dash planning to go. Not only you, but also I dash planning to go. We don't say I are planning to go. So what do we use? The two options for you are am and are. Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, good. But not only you, but also I am planning to go. Yes, it's am along with I, right? Okay, good, very good. Okay. That's wonderful that you all have learned this particular rule. A quick look at the courses of LeapScholar. So if you're keen to know what all we cover in our courses at LeapScholar, I'm going to quickly give you a little information about the IELTS Select and the IELTS Elite course that we have at LeapScholar. So, well, the IELTS Select course is the one where we have group-based learning. So about 35 to 40 students are there in the class. And what we offer in this one, well, you'd be amazed to see that we tend to offer 100 plus mock tests. We also offer computer-based tests with score tracking, 20 hours of live classes. That means 1 month of live classes every day from Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sunday reserved for the mock tests, and every day you'd be doing sectional tests and homework. You also get access to live recordings of the sessions. Doubt sessions will be separate. You'll have 25 full-length speaking tests and 28 writing tests, full-length speaking writing tests as well. You'll also be provided with study material. And all of this you can catch hold of with just 7,995. And you can just click on the join now and directly join the courses. However, if you wish to join the demo, you can also join the demo. There's another one, which is IELTS Elite, which if you are interested in personalized attention in the class, then IELTS Elite is the course for you. That is up to 10 students only. And your artificial intelligence-based smart tests, your study material, live recordings, doubt sessions, everyday classes from Monday to Friday, 1 hour session, 25 full-length speaking tests, and 28 writing tests, all of that put together, and many more features in just 11,999. And you can click on join now and you can join the courses directly. However, again, if you wish to take a demo session, you can book a free demo session because the links are shared in the description box, in the chat box. The links are shared. You can go ahead and book a free demo session with me and get a dedicated half an hour to 40 minutes demo with me. Right, everyone? Well, have a look. And now the links are there in the chat box. So if you wish to book your demo, you can do that. And now we're going to practice a small exercise. Everyone, a small exercise coming up for you to test your skills, to see how well you have learned whatever I taught you. And do you remember the rules that I spoke about a little while ago? So let's do this small exercise, everyone. And that's going to test your skills. So let me know how many marks you got out of that. So how many you scored out of those questions, right? Okay, yes, Eknoor, those were the answers for the previous questions that you saw on the screen. However, now we are going to look at the exercise which is coming up for you all, and you have to tell me how many marks you scored in this exercise. So you try implementing all your knowledge of what you've learned just now about the subject-verb agreement. Everyone, questions coming up on the screen for you. Okay, very quickly, some questions coming up for you on the screen. And I want you all to tell me how many marks you scored out of 8. Yes, I'm waiting for everyone to complete these answers. Man and woman dash complementary to each other. What is it? Very quickly, let me know what is it? Yes, very good. Can you all see the questions and are you able to do them? Man and woman are complementary to each other because it's a compound subject. So it's a compound subject and therefore, yes, it is are. And what about the next one? Plenty of mangoes and bananas dash available in this season. Again, it's a compound subject, plenty of mangoes and bananas. So that means it's plural subject. So what is it? Yes, very good. Okay, that's wonderful. Kishan has done all of them very quickly. Let me just see. So the leader, as well as his brothers, dashed to the, so what is it? Belong or belongs to the same tribe? Yeah, the leader as well as his brothers. The leader belongs. Yeah, very good. It belongs because as well as will not have an impact on your verb, right? What about the next one? Cats and dogs do not, very good. So do not get along. The brothers as well as their sister. So, well, the expression as well as is not going to have an impact on your verb. So the brothers is plural. And therefore, what are we going to have here? Well, we are going to have are. So good at their studies. The students accompanied by their teacher. Now the students, the expression accompanied by will not have an impact. So students is the main subject and students is plural. So what do we have along with students? The students have gone. So it is have. Very good. Okay, great. All those people who got that right. A lot of houses have collapsed in the storm, and the children as well as their mother. Now, as well as their mother, what is it? Are missing. Yes, it's are missing because are as well as will not have an impact here. So are missing. Okay, great, wonderful. That was a great exercise, and I just enjoyed thoroughly having a great session with you all. And I'm sure that you ended up learning a lot of things with me. So look at the answers on the screen. So I'm glad that many of you got it right. So yes. Okay, Kishan, you got most of them right. So wonderful attempt. And well, others are still sending in the answers. Okay, so have a quick look and remind yourself of the rules that we learned today and try to apply them and never make mistakes in your subject verb agreement. These are only some of the rules. They are not all of them. You know that grammar is very vast. However, I didn't want to confuse you too much. A little information is enough in one session where you can tend to remember it and apply it. So next time round, when you're going to be using all of this in your essays, I'm sure you're going to be a little more careful when you're doing that subject verb agreement. And I'm sure that when you're expressing your opinions in the essays, you will certainly take care of your style of writing as well. Maybe when you're disagreeing, you're going to try and use refutation. And maybe when you're expressing your opinions, you're going to try and consider others' opinions before presenting your own. And in that case, you will be using a concessional style of writing. And when you're expressing your opinions and throughout the essay, you certainly will be applying those expressions like I believe, I personally think that, it seems to me that. So all of those expressions to bring in more coherence, cohesiveness in your writing, and your writing will certainly be more impressive. Yes, everyone. So, well, we have all the answers out here on the screen for you, and I'm sure you had a thoroughly, enjoyable session, and you ended up learning a lot. That's it from my side. That's Shifa Nandi from LeapScholar, and I hope that you have used the links that are shared in the description and the chat box to book your free demo with us and learn a lot more and get to know about the courses at LeapScholar, which can help you to ace up your preparation for your IELTS, because, well, our motto is to help you out to achieve your band, your required band, in the first attempt itself. So that's what we believe in, because we believe that giving a retest is very agonizing, and therefore our intention is to offer you the kind of services which can help you to achieve your band in the first attempt, so that we prepare you in a holistic manner. Well, that's it from our side, and a big thank you to all of you for being here in the session. It was wonderful. So, well, that brings us to the end of the session. A very quick look that I'm going to show you very quickly on the screen. That how do we actually do the checking when it comes to essays? I'm sure many of you have this question, that how do we actually give you a feedback on your essays? So I want to very quickly show you about that on the screen. So, well, we give you a line-by-line feedback, word-by-word feedback with my personal comments, all of that on the page that where you have written your essay, and that certainly helps you to improve your writing and make a better attempt the next time round. So that is how we provide feedback on the essays. So on the written tasks, because it's very important to tell students all about their task achievement, all about whether they have answered the question appropriately, they have used the right kind of grammatical skills, and of course the lexical resource. So with regard to each of the parameters, we tend to help them out and give a feedback. So that's how we do the checking, and you can be assured that you get a personalized feedback for your writing tasks. Well, that brings us to the end of the session, and a very big thank you to all of you. Yeah, bye-bye, everyone.